Mrs. Johnson's next words sent a wave of dread crashing over us. We've also noticed some unusual activity in the account. There have been significant deposits made by an unknown entity into the accounts of your sons, Thatcher and Jared. Dad and I shared a look of alarm, the implications of this discovery sending our minds racing. Who would deposit money into their accounts, and for what purpose? Leaving the bank, the weight of our conversation hung in the air, each word laden with the gravity of our family's future. The road home was shrouded in mist, reflecting the uncertainty of the path ahead. Yet, despite the silence that filled the car, a shared resolve united us. The drive back from the bank was a quiet one, with the weight of our conversation hanging between us like the heavy Pennsylvania air. As Dad turned the truck onto the familiar gravel path leading home, the sight of the farm brought a mix of emotions. Relief at being back on familiar ground, anxiety for the future, and a deep-seated resolve to protect our legacy. Dad and I exchanged a look, a silent agreement that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, as a family. With a deep breath, I followed him inside, ready to gather the family and share the news from the bank. The fight for our farm had just begun, and I felt the weight of responsibility settle firmly on my shoulders. Inside, the house was alive with the sounds of family life. Nicky were busy in the kitchen, the aroma of dinner wafting through the air. Jared and Thatcher were in the midst of a heated discussion about the day's work, but they paused to greet us as we entered. Seeing them all there, I was reminded of the trip I had planned with Micah and Cameron. It was meant to be a brief respite before taking on the full responsibilities of the farm. I excused myself and headed upstairs to my room, where my bags lay half-packed on the bed. As I added the last few items to my bag, the reality of leaving, even for just a short while, began to sink in. I zipped up the bag and took a moment to look around my room, at the posters on the wall, the photos on the dresser, each a snapshot of the life I'd lived up to this point. "Have a safe trip, Ashlyn," Dad said from the doorway, his voice pulling me from my reverie. "And remember, we'll be here waiting for you when you get back." Nicky's embrace was tight, her warmth a reminder of the love that bound us. "Take care of yourself, sweetheart. And have fun with your friends," she whispered, her voice laced with emotion. I nodded, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. Jared and Thatcher stood by the door, a silent support system. "See you later, bro," Jared said, bumping fists with me in a show of solidarity. Thatcher's smile was a quiet reassurance. "Enjoy the trip, Ashlyn. And don't worry about the farm, we've got it covered while you're away." A twinge of guilt tugged at my heart as I left them behind, but I knew the farm was in capable hands. In the living room, Riker and Ryder's innocent laughter filled the air as they played. I knelt down, pulling them into a hug, their small arms wrapping around me. "Be good for Mom and Dad while I'm gone, okay?" I told them, ruffling their hair. They nodded, their eyes bright with the promise of being good. With a final look around the room, I shouldered my bags and stepped out the door, Dad and Nicky waving from the porch. Thatcher and Jared shared a mischievous glance, a silent plan forming between them. "Let the fun really begin," Thatcher whispered, a hint of mischief in his voice. I couldn't help but chuckle as I waved goodbye, the anticipation of the trip mingling with the knowledge that home would always be a place of love and laughter. Micah and Cameron were already in the truck, the engine humming with potential. "Come on, Ashlyn!" Cameron yelled from the passenger side, his voice laced with excitement. I sprinted to the truck, throwing my bag in as I leaped into the bed. As we pulled away, black exhaust spurted from the tailpipes, and the open road beckoned us forward, the promise of adventure as vast as the Wyoming sky. The airport bustled with travelers, but we moved through the crowds with a single focus. The flight was a bridge between two worlds, and as the plane lifted off, the ground falling away, a rush of exhilaration filled me. Jackson Hole welcomed us with open arms, its natural beauty a stark contrast to the life we'd left behind. We dove headfirst into the adventures it offered, from the majestic peaks of the Tetons to the roaring waters of the Snake River. Each day was a chapter in the story we were writing together.